Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Your offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing!
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to ECAC Esports Valorant. I am Septilins, joined by Jag, and this is going to be an absolute banger of a night. Jag, this is a scary matchup because we've got James Madison University going up against Wichita State University. JMU coming in with everything to gain, and Wichita coming in with everything to lose.
Yeah, and before we get into this, I just want to talk really briefly about us. I'm very shocked by the fact that you are the one wearing the esports gear tonight. You are representing Wichita State, so no caster bias there. I'm the one who's just nicely dressed up, but regardless, like you said, I think the way you put it was beautiful. That's actually basically a quote that I got from Wichita. They feel like they have everything to lose. Everything is on them right now. They're the #1 seed. They've only lost one game this season. JMU, they've got everything to prove. There isn't as much on the table for them, but they both have the same opportunity. One thing to note, though, early on is that one loss was from James Madison. So this is the one team that's beaten them all season. However, from what I talked about with Wichita, they did have subs in that matchup. So that lineup that was beaten previously is not going to be the same one that's playing tonight.
And that's arguably the scariest thing, right? For James Madison to go in and say, oh, we've beaten them once. Technically, but also technically not, because you've beaten a variation of Wichita State, not the team you were going up against here tonight. On the flip of that kind of argument, this is a team, Wichita's a team that can be studied, a team that we have seen before, and a team that has very consistent executions on play styles and definitely consistent performances. 7-1. I would say that's pretty stinking consistent. Your one loss is when you don't have that team, when you don't have that consistency. But coming in tonight, like we've talked about already, they've got everything to lose. I suspect this team going to be playing at 150%.
Yeah, and I think just to kind of talk more about statistics, not only 7-1, but 5 maps. That's all they've lost out of the 24 that they played throughout the season. So they are used to winning. Truman is a player that they indicated was someone to look out for, a top Radiant player, top 50 actually for their jet play. That is, one of the highest in the nation in North America. So really up there in the ranking. But overall, these two teams, very even playing field, I would say, Immortal 3 average for James Madison, Immortal 2 for Wichita State. They're not too far away. And what we do know for sure is what maps we will be playing on tonight. We're going to be starting on one that you and I feel like haven't seen in a while. This used to be kind of the default pick. I would say back in the fall, Ascent was kind of everyone's second map. It was always somewhere in the lineup. It really hasn't been that way for a while, though.
It really hasn't. The default pick definitely was Ascent, but sorry, it was right in front of me. I had to grab it, but absolutely. I mean, this is a map that I've referred to as the face of Valorant, right? This is a map that when I think of Valorant, I think of Ascent, and it's one that I'm really excited to be back on. Icebox is a personal favorite of mine, especially with those changes coming out, or the changes that have come out already, rather. This is really going to shake things up for what the teams may bring out, or performances. I know our producer Leighton and I were talking a lot about how lineups have changed drastically on that second point on Icebox, and we're going to have to see if these teams have adapted accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. That second point of Icebox feels like a completely different part of the map. Honestly, you cannot sit behind that yellow cargo box and hope for the best anymore. There's a lot less that you can do as an attacker and a lot more you can do for the retake on defense. But while we talk about Ascent, which is our first map, you talked about it being the face of Valorant. I feel like in this, time span from when it was really popular to now, a lot has changed, especially the agents that you're picking on it. Remember Killjoy, Silva, they were almost insta-locks every time. Astra, not anymore. We've seen Omen and Brimstone become much more popular. We've seen Chamber come into the mix, KO as well. So I'm really intrigued to see what's picked here in the early going. And already I do see Omen, KO. There's going to be a lot of changes here from what was the pick of yesteryear.
Yeah, without a doubt. I would be surprised to see Sova swapped off. I still think he is very vital. This is called Sova's Playground. The lineups are insane. The ability to get recon bolts all the way into the back line can really work well for teams, and I don't think either team is willing to take that appropriate risk of not bringing out a Sova. Yeah, the more I look at this, the less surprised I truly am. I guess the weirdest thing is KO, and even that is still kind of expected, right? That's not like a complete off-the-wall Yoru pick or, even bringing Astra back out. It's still going to be what I would call a safer pick on Ascent.
Well, I think a lot of the time, I think of Sova and KO as kind of characters that do sort of the same thing. It's a lot of recon information. I mean, the Sova has the recon bolt, the owl drone. I think really you play around the 0-point knife that KO has that gives that silence as well as just information. It's not exactly where someone is, but there's enemies in the vicinity if you're able to silence them. So yeah, not too much of a surprise. In fact, the only difference that I see between these two compositions is a Chamber and a Killjoy, and nothing has been locked in yet for WSU, so I do feel like this is what they will end up running. But what does that really indicate? Chamber, is a sentinel, but I always see him as a pseudo duelist, very aggressive, especially based on the fact that most of his abilities are weapon based. Tour de Force is a very dangerous ultimate to find yourselves facing. But Killjoy, she's not as defensive sided, I would say, as a Cypher. Chamber, I'd say, is a little bit more in between as well, but it makes me feel like Wichita State might play a little bit slower on this attack because they won't have the same engagement. They won't have a headhunter, which can really help turn around a pistol round early on. You hit that headshot and it's an insta one tap. So we're going to have to see how this is played out, but I'm assuming Pizzasaurus probably going to be playing a little bit slower and maybe more just making sure that there's no one rotating behind them.
Yeah, without a doubt. And this is going to be fascinating because while KJ is absolutely more versatile when it comes to offense versus defense than Cypher is, I still think she struggles on the offense. I think we look at kind of a 65-35, 60-40 split where KJ definitely thrives on defense. She can set up microwaves. Her ultimate can consistently find a little easier value or a bit safer value. You don't have to put it in as risky spots. So if Wichita does well on the offense, I think their defense will look even better.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, honestly, is that her engagement is a little bit better than Cypher's in particular. Yeah. I mean, you can use a lockdown. Like you said, it's a bit riskier, but you can use it. Nanostorm you can throw in also to create space. Cypher really is just people are running into you. Killjoy, you can make that space without having them necessarily actually, run into your utility. But regardless, as I said, it is a slow pistol round. Just not usually something you expect. In fact, they don't even have the spike right now. It looks like the Jet will be getting it. They're just trying to find some default. But it's actually Pizzasaurus that might be falling first. They peek this.
Oh, okay. Everybody's missing their shots there. Nobody taking even a little bit of damage. You thought Pizzasaurus would have gone down, having that crosshair off to the side. But this is real slow, Jag, especially for a pistol round. Nobody wants to take that risk. Nobody wants to be the first one to go down. And when you had the chance to talk to Wichita earlier, they talked about how important it is to stay calm and play slow if they have to. It looks like they're trying to play slow early.
Yeah.
Oh!
Maybe not slow enough.
No, maybe a little too slow. I mean, it's really going to be a gray area here on what they've done wrong, but Noah seems to be the one to take 3 down early. GSP takes out another one. Pizzasaurus is up to them. 45 HP, 1 shell in a dream, but Duraco is able to take them down early. James Madison winning that first round.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was saying maybe not slow enough. You're saying maybe too slow. Whatever the case is, they definitely needed to get a pick before they enter.
Right.
That's kind of the whole point of how they ran that. They were trying to find some sort of entry, and they just ran out of time. They didn't find anything on A. They kind of are always facing towards B. They don't have any mid control, so they just blindly run onto the point. They do get a nice paranoia, actually. Very nicely done by Kaba, but no one follows up on it, and because of that, they aren't able to take advantage of that utility usage, and now they're going to find themselves at a big weapons disadvantage here in round 2.
Noah waiting for the opportunity to just send that shock dart up and over. Probably not looking for any elims, but even a little bit of damage can go a long way. Duraco getting some intel, knows there's at least one, but Thiessen, what a shot! Duraco down early. That shock dart absolutely worth its weight in gold here. Kaba and that Sova taking quite a bit of damage early.
They get a weapon off of that. That would be a huge pickup if they do, but right now...
Now you need a headhunter.
Yeah, I mean... there you go. So there's no weapon to take, so really don't find anything besides the numbers advantage. That's not going to be huge here on this, round that you're saving basically everything. Maybe a Sheriff or two, which we've already seen, but not going to have really great firepower to match arms.
Pizzasaurus, I thought took a body shot. I think it must have been a wall bang though, because I know traditional martial body shot does 101, and it looks like that KJ's got a little bit more HP than that, so going to be playing it a little bit slower. Yeah, down to 53 now. 0-point blade gives them away. They can get the read at the very least. That Wichita split, but that offers very little value on the defense.
I mean, they get the opening pick, but Wichita, they're kind of weak. You see 3 members actually are at half health or just around that amount, so they do get the numbers advantage, but they just can't push onto it. Does look like their Jet did buy a Spectre, so I think they have at least one weapon to work with, and I think that is, their best player, Truman. So we'll see how that works. This is a big misread by James Madison. They have completely abandoned the B site, and that's exactly where Wichita has gone to. So they play it so patiently for so long. The last moment they give it up.
A colossal misread there, Jack. I could not have said it better. The last second, as Wichita was pushing in, JMU was accidentally pushing out in tandem, and they opened the site completely up for Wichita. Spike plant's gone down. That's an additional 400 credits in the following round. And If Wichita can win this, they can tie things back up 1-1 and throw all statistical expectation right out the window. Microwave is up and running, and it's going to be able to find a bit of damage, but no eliminations quite yet. It's difficult to get kills with that at a caliber of this level. Zumufu finds that Elam to tie things up, takes down Kaba early as well. Zumufu coming in with a third. Truman finding two of their own. Zumufu looking for the ace, looking to find it, and will not be able to do so. Truman able to find that. Elam, can they find just one more to seal the deal? They can. Truman's 3K comes in clutch, and Wichita State tying things up 1-1.
That's such a huge round one because usually you expect
absolutely
after winning the pistol, that second round not really going to go your way. Maybe you find 2 eliminations. I think that's like a win in a loss. You find 2 eliminations on just a light buy, and that helps get rid of the economy from the team that just won. But here you just win outright. Now you get a bonus to your name as well, and just great timing. I mean, we said before a little bit too slow. I feel like this time it was actually James Madison that played that way too slow. They had the weapons advantage. They didn't have the numbers. But especially finding that rotation that was coming in through market, you just gotta gun it to the point. Didn't give themselves enough time to go for the DPs. Also didn't double peek who was in Boathouse. That's a big no-no.
Oh! Truman caught out early, one-tapped by GSV, and that's the best player on the side of Wichita going down. Pizzasaurus not far behind. This blind fire working out well for James Madison. They find themselves up 5-3. Wichita, they've made it onto site, but, I mean, what can they really do afterward?
Do have rifles, much better than a Spectre play, so they actually do have quite a few weapons to use here, but they've lost 2 people. The Sheriff into a rifle can be very dangerous. You find that one tap, you are done. There's no return fire. Comes down to James Madison. This time they don't have the weapons advantage, but they can still play fast, overwhelm them with numbers. Flash, see if it's big enough.
Oh, Tease and Kaba taking out one another. DiDoraco finding Kaba with the classic. 3v2, absolutely winnable. Wichita, they've got the numbers advantage like nobody's business, but as Noah finds another Elam onto Team, it's up to Teeson to save the day. And it's statistically going to be tough. Yeah, with 3 firing at you, you're only 1 firing back. JMU, they win it. A little sloppier than they may have wanted, but they win it nonetheless.
It's just so weird because this is the score you'd expect. You know, after you win the pistol round, James Madison's up 2-1. But the rounds that they won, not in the order you'd expect whatsoever. It's a thrifty back-to-back, but each team gets their own. It feels like business is restored to as usual. Maybe just having the lesser buy is the way to go. That's how it feels in these earlier rounds. But James Madison, they're going to not want to give this one up. They want to get that lead a little bit bigger before there's an equal buy once again. They have the rifles, Wichita don't. But we've seen how dangerous these sheriffs could be. The one big thing that James Madison also has, they already have the From the Shadows ultimate. So they could teleport very easily for recon or maybe just to go for a flank with that Omen.
0-point knife coming out early, looking for some intel. I think JMU is going to be a lot more patient for the rest of the series, honestly, about when they rotate and when they don't. It was a big mistake early on, washed them around, and I'm sure they don't want to make that mistake once again. A bit of damage stacked up onto Kaba, down to 64 HP, but living to tell the tale. Wichita in a tough spot. Realistically, we're probably going to see a 3-1. They've already lost their Sova. They absolutely do not have the weapons to engage. They're going to need quite a bit of luck on their side to win this round out.
They do have a lockdown, so they could try to use that as a force or a fake. But yeah, with the Odin, you could be able to get the wall bank, but they've run away too quickly. So I'd love to see the lockdown be used early here, more just as a deterrent than anything else. Put it on, say, A, run to B, get the spike down, get those extra credits. I mean, they had a really great offensive hold. It really just deterred the retake that James Madison had last time. So maybe playing the retake isn't their strong suit. So if you can force them into a situation where they have to run onto a point where they have no vision, no knowledge, they just know the spike's planted down, maybe you can play angles like that even with your weaponry not being the best. But right now, they are just taking way too long.
It seems to be the kind of name of the game so far, Jag. It's about playing a slower game, very often too slow of a game. DiDoraco takes out Kaba. Pizzasaurus barely gets to see the site where they go down as well. G falls to Noah, and there goes Truman, not far behind. A flawless round win. Or James Madison going up 3-1. They've got the weapons, they've got the round lead, and they've got quite a few ultimates moving into this next one.
Yeah, ultimates are equal, but I think the biggest thing there is they do not fall whatsoever. It's a flawless round, so everyone gets to keep their economy nice and healthy. Wichita State, they might start to get snowballed early. They lose this round, and there's no buy next round, and it might be like that buy, no buy, no buy until halftime. That can easily fall out your favor really, really quickly. One thing to remember, this was Wichita's pick. This was their map choice. A side pick for James Madison, and so far they're making this defense look nice, but I don't want to call it out over anytime soon. It's only 4 rounds in going into round 5.
Right, and like I said, I definitely suspect Wichita's team composition to work better on defense. The offense may be a little bit harder for them to succeed on, so maybe they have a rough first half, able to turn it around in the second. We've seen that plenty of times. They're down, but they are certainly not out. Like you said, we've just kicked off round 5. We're looking at a maximum of, 20-something. I mean, it can go for infinity if these players want to keep it close enough. Decent going in early with the Owl Drone. Get some good intel. They know somebody's hanging out in the tree. A little bit of action. So Boomafu might have a lineup. No, instead goes for the door close. Oh, eats a couple bullets through the wall.
Well, this rotation for Merg could be huge. Depends on timing. They're backing out of this. Interesting. So they don't want to commit to that, and it might work out. Though they are rotating to the point. Looks like Wichita State again going mid. So this is something that they haven't really had a lot of. They have gone through mid, but they haven't really taken control of it. They've just gone through the door from market trying to go on to B site. Right. So I'd love to see them actually take control of the back, like spawn area for defenders, but instead maybe going back to A.
Oh, they're splitting now. Thiessen going to be going up and through tree. Looks like the spike not far behind. A flank from the Jet. We're about to have a duel of the Jets here on A long. If they choose to peek, but instead a little bit slower. GSB, no, eating quite a few bullets down to 18 HP, but still takes out Gene before they are traded to Boomfu. Takes out Truman, 43 in favor of James Madison. Hunter's Fury in an attempt to interrupt Spike Plant, but it doesn't show up fast enough, which is how they get those additional 400 credits. They keep the dream alive, and the numbers are against them, but they've forced James Madison into a retake. Hunter's
Fury used so early on. I would have loved to see that used a little bit later. Teleport just to get to heaven. I thought it was a flank, but they just really were getting back with everyone else. But that's a nice 0 point. Can they capitalize off of it? They got to go in, but no, they're going to get just taken out from Archway.
Oh!
3v2. They're still one in hell.
An incredible shot from Murr. Oh my goodness. Somebody's still in hell. I think somebody else hanging out A-long. Thiessen might be able to find an Elim. Oh, and the pre-fire does not work out for D. Duraco. Keba takes down Noah, and all of a sudden, it's a 1v1. Thiessen v Murr. Murr still, I believe, looking to find an elimination in this map. Brings out the classic, going for the defuse, already halfway there.
Fake.
Turns the head, and Thiessen still able to find it. Wichita able to find their second round win, but the spike gonna catch you on your way out the door.
And again, just the not double peeking onto the last person who was alive. I've got to say, I know they took the fight at Archway first, but then they went immediately to the spike. You go ahead and clear hell. That's an easy round win. You lose a few people along the way, but you're able to keep that lead strong. Instead, you give up that round in very dramatic fashion. Comes down to one person. The economy still isn't really that great. I mean, right now, Jeem can't buy, so looks like they're going to go for a Spectre. They got a Guardian on their side, and James Madison, despite losing that, they have the Odin, they have the Operator. Like, they're just looking at a much better situation.
Yeah, after this round, I definitely want to talk a little bit more about how Wichita's gotten into this position, because I think it's really interesting, but let's focus on what we've got going on right in front of us here. A faster approach than normal. Pizzasaur is already up and through the choke onto A site. The rest of the team going to be rushing in immediately after. 0 Point Blade takes out GSP on the high ground. Kaba goes in deep onto site. They're taking it over quickly, and this is the level of aggression that I've been waiting to see, Jack. Here comes that lockdown you were hoping for, and this gives Wichita a massive opportunity to take possession of site early.
Yeah, no Hunter's Fury to destroy it this time, so they might throw down Shock Darts, which I believe did get the job done. There were 3 ultimates just to get onto that site. 0 elims yet. Nice. There's one, but I mean, you use so much just to try to secure this round, so if you don't win this, you're going to be in a bad way.
Without a doubt. I mean, both teams really going to be staring a bad econ in the face if they lose this round. Murr, a phenomenal one-tap onto Pizzasaurus. Kaba goes down as well and moving in, and a double here. JMU finds quite a few eliminations. We're tied up 2-2, a player critical condition on both sides. Jeem finds Noah. It's up to this Jet GSB to try and save the day, but he walks right into the crosshair of Jeem. Jack, I'm going to dip into your time a little bit because I do want to talk about Wichita. In the first 2 rounds they won, where they won both of them by the absolute skin of their teeth. First round win, 1 person survived. Second round win, nobody survived. So even though they're winning, their econ is still being destroyed even in those round wins.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, I want to talk about Ultimate Economy because they used so much there to secure it, and it did work out in the end, but you know, from the shadows, maybe not necessary. Lockdown maybe could have used earlier instead of using the null command and then saving it for another day. They're finding ways to win, but like you said, it's by the skin of their teeth. However, for the first time in a while, they will have a weapons advantage. The fact that they get the operator for free as well is really nice because they will be going into a Blaze Storm, going into the Tour de Force. So there's a lot that's going to be going against them here, despite the fact that, you know, James Madison only were able to buy 3 weapons.
0 Point knife comes out once again. Thiessen caught early, has to play very slow in this corner. And that A-Long has really been the site of pretty important eliminations. We saw the Jet 1v1. We saw the Chamber D. Duraco go down very early for JMU last round, which then opened up the doors for Wichita to win. And Zabumafu, I think, trying to intentionally hold control of this site because it really seems to be kind of the go light, the green light, if you will, for Wichita when they want to succeed on that A site. However, Wichita playing one of those slower games, a slower round, using every available second they have, and... Oh! Oh, I thought D. Duraco was a shoo-in to find that Elim, but Jeem just knew somebody was going to be holding that angle.
It just seems like James Madison, they've been found out a little bit here. They continue to hold very aggressively, and it's costing them. That's going to be a trade back, though. GSB able to get on the board. But, you know, they're always playing far out. So I think that Wichita State, they are catching on to this, and they're looking for that. I'm also shocked, though, that they did not get that elimination. It looks like maybe just a little bit of hesitation from the Chamber.
Yeah.
Very costly. Now it's going to be, it looks like a commit on to the B site. Yeah, it's going to be a B hit. And because of that 0 point, that Bladestorm's not going to be online.
Oh, it's definitely not going to be online now. Jag GSB taken out early. And this is fascinating because it was a complete mirror matchup. The two anomalies taken out early being that Chamber and that KJ. We're looking at a full-blown tied-up 4v4. Now that Jet has fallen. Truman trying to find another Elim, falls just a little bit short. The next Elim can absolutely dictate how the rest of this round plays out. Zabumafu goes in quick. Truman finding a Noah and being traded out immediately for, by Zabumafu. Thiessen finds that Elim, and the Hunter's Fury, a weird one, but definitely an effective one. Mur moves in quick, looking to go on site, and finds Kaba. I love the flash out using the own Omen smoke against them. A very intelligent play.
And I think at this point right now, if Wichita, you're thinking, do we save this op or do we try to find this final elimination? I don't think there's enough time to defuse the spike. They're going to go for it.
Oh,
it's going to be the wall bang. Did they get the operator? That's going to be the big question. I don't think they did. We'll have to look. And no, they did not. So they win the round. They do take out more economy from James Madison, who either going to have to commit to kind of a Frankenstein half buy or they're going to save here. But they lose the operator. And it's interesting because they had enough time, honestly, to pick it up. I just don't think they knew where it was because they go for that final Elim and it kind of throws them off guard. And that was a big part of what won them the last round. Jeem with the operators kind of pushing up with it. And then I think it was given to Truman later on. Big part of how they won that.
Without a doubt. And JMU bringing out these sheriffs early, and like an M&M bestseller, you know, they've got one shot, one opportunity, or you're going to lose yourself the round, and that can definitely not work out well for James Madison. Mur trying to make it happen. Mur definitely, as the rounds have progressed, I feel Mur's gameplay has as well, getting more and more warmed up, a more and more impressive player. But Zabumafu doing Zabumafu things, takes out Pizza Source early. Kaba, this is an insanely risky spot.
Yeah, that's okay, very aggressive paranoia too, but they're just kind of sitting in the smoke waiting for something to happen.
That Owl drone accidentally walking into a surprise party, and it looks like Thiessen really getting a lot of value here. Truman, the shorty kill onto Zabumafu. 3v1.5 as the Chamber gets ready, or excuse me, the KO gets ready to go down. Kaba finds an Elim onto Noah, and that wraps it up. Wichita, a very sloppy start, but as these rounds progress, you know, these last two rounds are the first couple of rounds they've won and kept a healthy economy, so that's definitely going to help the snowball potential for them.
Yeah, I feel like that was the best run actually they've had so far.
Definitely.
They have 3 alive. They only lose 2. They keep their weaponry for the most part. I mean, Jeem is the only one whose economy is really hurting right now. 50 crits, but everyone else 3,900 or more, so they already are guaranteed full buys. So actually 3,550, but that'll be enough, you know, going forward. So everyone will be able to buy again if they lose this. I talked about snowball effect. James Madison, they are starting to feel it themselves. This is getting very precautious. If they lose too many rounds in a row, then they won't have enough to buy with. I really need to see Duraco shine here because they had a few chances, especially 2 rounds ago with that tour de force where they just hesitated a little bit too much. And I think because of that, that gave a big opening to their opponent.
Didn't hesitate that time, but unfortunately just kind of fell for the Jiggle Peak scenario, gave themselves away their location as well. Has to play it slow. It's a very risky spot to re-peak with an operator if somebody's already holding your angle.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the reset just going away, realizing, you know, this isn't worth holding. But now they're back to looking that way, and the good news is that if this push does come through, they can probably adjust from tree and then look towards the point. But Wichita again, I mean, we talked about the slow gameplay. You know, it's worked here, it's not worked there. This is probably the slowest run I've actually seen from them, and I do like the idea of trying to find that default pick, or maybe just trying to find a way to get the defenders off the point. You got to remember, you're working with 40 seconds here. That's not a guaranteed plant if you're pushed back off.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you're definitely getting down to the wire. It takes, what is it, like 4.5 seconds or something along those lines to plant. And it's really going to be risky for a team to play slower. If you have sight, waiting to plan is one thing. But if you are still waiting to get sight, you've got 20 seconds left. Half of when Jags finished talking is already gone. I mean, we're down to 20 seconds left on the clock. Wichita still struggling to get in, to find that elimination, as 3 of them are picked up by Noah here. It can spell disaster. Duraco finds Kava, Duraco finds Truman, and all of a sudden JMU is back in charge. That spike absolutely not being planted this time around. Duraco has decided enough is enough, winning that 4th round for James Madison.
And I mean, the good news again, Wichita, they can buy here, so it's not the end of the world, but these default plays, they just have not worked out. They're not playing aggressively enough.
Right.
Where it really works out, and they're not looking at the right location. Like, again, like, there's no mid control. They never look at mid. It's always going to A or B, and while they might be trying to go through tree to A and, you know, going over a little bit of mid, it's not like the market area, which is really what you think of, because if they were getting through spawn, like, which they definitely could with the angles that James Madison is holding, then I would say go for it. You know, go for those long rotations, go for those nice plays, but right now they're finding themselves with not enough time in the world to really capitalize on, and you saw there at the very end, like, they just tried to run in. Again, no information, no clear, but again, the shot's not coming through from this chamber.
That's a great example of what I was talking about last round, Jag. It's that scenario where re-peeking an angle where somebody very clearly knows you are, this time with an owl drone dart in your arm to show them exactly where you're standing. That re-peek is incredibly dangerous and often not worth it. I think it would have been smarter to just teleport right back out and readjust, reposition, but now Wichita back up in a 5v4. Duraco the first to go down, and that may be the first domino to fall to give Wichita at least a tied half.
That's their default pick. Now, how do they capitalize on? How do they find point pressure that they need? At 0 point, not going to find much of anything. And there is, from the shadows, they could teleport to try to find information. It could be a B hit. That's where the spike is. They could try to get mid position. So there's so many plays here for Wichita State. I just want to see them do it faster. They're just
agreed.
They're just waiting.
Wichita definitely, you know, like I mentioned, told you that they want to play slower. They want to play calm and collected, you know, even in those highest of stakes moments. But this is feeling maybe a little too calm, a little too slow. Moving in quick would absolutely catch JMU, off guard at this point, because they're expecting Wichita to take every available second to capitalize on these points. Murr finds Tease, and it's a 2v4, so absolutely against James Madison, but winnable regardless. I mean, we just saw Duraco drop a 4K last round, so we know one player is more than capable of finding 4 elims if they play their cards right. Murr, bit of a timing diff here. Pizzasaurus. This is weird. You get to hold the Sova, but at the same time, you've got to be careful because he's rocking an Odin.
Yeah, I think, honestly, at this point, you're probably not even going to try to contest this. I think this is just going to be waiting for the rotation to come out of the point when the spike goes off. Yeah, trying to find those exit frags. Trying to keep your weaponry. I think Pizzasaurus. Yeah, there you go. You're not going to win that duel of an Odin, unfortunately. And yeah, I think that this is just going to be a win for Wichita. So they get to secure that lead, continue keeping it going. They get that 6th round on the board, which means worst comes to worst, it's going to be a tie at halftime. They don't get the weapons all the way out of James Madison's hand. Their economy is pretty good. I mean, GSB doesn't have to be bought for. It looks like everyone will be able to get something. It's going to be pretty even buy across the board. Keeping that Odin is big, and we're going to be going back to the operator.
I'm glad you brought it up.
I think it's a bit of a risk from how it's been played so far.
And without a doubt, I mean, we're skipping armor, we're skipping util, we're bringing out. Okay, no, there we go. Somebody said, "Hey man, why don't we try something else this round? It may work a little bit better." And Duraco, absolutely listening. Heavy armor, bringing out the Vandal, a much safer option.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, you got to think about this also. Like, you win this round, like, that's great. You're in a great scenario where you can potentially draw it up, but you lose this one, you got nothing left for next rounds. I mean, it's just, you're going to be facing an 4-8 half, but that is a great way to start it off, getting rid of the Killjoy.
GSB has got some incredible crosshair placement. I mean, so consistently we're seeing one taps from this jet, and it is breathtaking, to say the very least. Owl Drone goes out early from Thiessen. Just trying to find somebody out, you know, give a little wave. Gives it some intel away. Murr might be able to 0 point if he really wants to take the risk. Has no idea Kaba is there, and Kaba's still going to get one tapped on their way through the door. 5v3 in favor of JMU. They've got a massive opportunity here to make this at least a 6-5, maybe a 7-5 if they're unlucky, but a 6-6 is on the horizon. They're 3 elims shy of being 1 round shy of the tie-up.
I'm just saying that if the 0 point hits an opponent directly, I feel like they should take damage for that. It's literally a knife. I thought that just went right into the Sova on the side of Wichita State, but anyway, they have disadvantage. 3v4, 30 seconds left. Hunter's Fury available on the other side, so they could try to use that late if they want to. Very nice angle here.
Crosshair placement's phenomenal, and Truman learns that the hard way. Looking up at the boxes instead, gonna get a bullet right to the back of the dome. 4v2. Two very strong players from the side of Wichita, but JMU, they are not pushovers. I mean, they are not an easy team to find a 4K on. 3 of them now given away. Team gonna throw that frag grenade up on top. And goes for the floor bang. I love that. I love that level of aggression. I think it works really well. Unfortunately, not able to find an elim though.
I think they might have taken damage from that themselves, from their own fragment grenade. Yeah, because it goes through the floor there.
Oh, Thiessen saving Jeem's life, and Jeem returning the favor straight away. All of a sudden, Jack blink and you miss it. 23 HP. Jeem is exactly where they're expected to be, and DiDoRocco was waiting for it. Now let's highlight DiDoRocco getting a kill with the Vandal. Imagine what could have gone wrong if there was an operator on the table.
Yeah, operator maybe. I mean, it's really that first elimination I think that they got when Wichita State tried to come through Archway. If that's an operator, you missed that shot. Like, that changes that round completely. It means that Wichita State, they have entry, they have the point, they have at least an equal amount of people still alive. So the Vandal buy there was a big part of that round. I mean, if they sort of got that first shot and they were on high ground, probably could pick up one of their own teammates' Vandals to take that fight. But yeah, it was the right play. It works out. Now they have, believe, the Tour de Force. Yes, they do. So they're going to give their Vandal over to someone else. And all of a sudden, it seems very drawable. It seems like this could be a 6-6 half.
It feels likely. I'm confident to say so. I mean, I suspect, like I said, the Tour de Force from DiDoRocco coming out here. A Hunter's Fury is on the table for JMU as well. So worst case scenario, they can prevent a plant or at least delay one, buying themselves a little bit more time off the clock. Waiting for the Aldrin. This is such a tough situation because you know the Sova's in there, but that is not a wall-bangable surface. Now the full team going to be rotating in quick. Sova taking a bit of shock dart damage, but DiDoRocco looking in the wrong spot. Maybe swung on here if he's not careful.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, good paranoia.
Has to use the rendezvous. They're actually... The door is closed, broken immediately, but with that null command, everyone's going to be silenced for a little bit.
This is awkward. This is definitely difficult. Wichita going in quick, and Jeem finding GSB, taking out a power player early. Truman up and through into market. Knows somebody's up there. No door to be closed, but an Elim possibly onto the Omen if you play your cards right. Oh, Truman going to walk right past him and probably play the place of his life, but Thiessen was there to save the day. Burr with a double kill, tying things back up. No, excuse me. 3v2 in favor of James Madison. Pressure on. This absolutely can be a 6-6 half if they're not careful. Murr, a play we saw several rounds ago, bringing it out once again. A flash through the opposing Omen smoke, using this placement against them. There goes one. Kaba finds DiDoRocco, and it is up to this Omen to try and save the day. Frag grenade out, closing one of the entrances, and he stands right in it. Murr makes sure to seal the deal, and JMU have tied it up 6-6 entering the second half of Ascent.
All right, what can Murr not do? I mean, you had said earlier, like, it seemed like Murr was really stepping up, and, you know, I was kind of on the fence about it, but the flash drives, the flash grenades, the fragments, the frag grenades, like, they were impeccable that round. I mean, you throw out 2 flash drives, both of them find value, it forces them in back of Boathouse, then the fragment is thrown in after you know they're already there. It's just big play after big play to help really establish that round and help them take it after, you know, they actually got, you know, they were down. That was a 4v5. They get kind of cut off from the point. A lockdown separates them. They lose their Sova in the middle of the Hunter's Fury, and yet still they come out on top of that. On the back of those plays for Murr, who's now taken over the top frag on their team. We're going to have to see what they can do on this attacking side. You said Wichita State, their comp was made for defense. I agree with you, but on the same side, I think James Madison might even look more deadly now that they're on the attack.
I don't disagree with that in the slightest. I think their comp is a little bit more swappable. I think it works well on defense, but is primarily... I don't really want to say built for offense because 4 of them are the same agent. I don't think Chamber makes that big of a difference. I think both these teams definitely going to be a little more defensive-sided, but with JMU's play style that we've seen so far, we saw they loved to overextend on defense. That makes me think they want to give us a fast, aggressive offense, and if they're able to do that, it can work well, but Wichita already having the numbers here. DiDoRocco, 13 HP, turns into that big old goose egg of a 0, and it's a 5v3 in favor of Wichita all over again.
Yeah, they're just so split. I mean, they lose their Sova on A, but most of them are on B. They still have one person lurking around A attacker spawn / going to mid area. So they were just so all over the map. There's really no way they can play off of this pistol round. I mean, losing the Headhunter also is just a huge shame because that's probably your main damage dealer here if you aren't buying a Sheriff. So with that being said, it's going to be very tricky for them to win this one out. Not impossible, especially if GSB is able to find something here, maybe on Catwalk. I mean... doesn't seem like there's much of them to do, and I think they were just found out by the recon bolt.
Murr gets a little bit of intel, but I think is in a bit of trouble here. All three moving in quick. I love the smoke into dash. A classic jet play and one that's already paying back in dividends. GSB finds that Elam onto Pizzasaurus early. Teason gets the trade. Zabumafu there to take that Sova offline. A 3v2 now still in favor of Wichita State. What a frag grenade. What a lineup from Wichita to seal the deal. Get rid of that default plant location and burn more time off the clock. We've now entered the red as we're getting down to those single digits. One falls. Kaba taking out Zabumafu, and there goes another wall bang kill from Truman. Takes out Murr and seals the deal. Wichita winning the first round of the second half.
That was always going to be a very tricky one to win, but think about how much easier that would have been if they'd been able to secure the kill onto the Sova if GSP hadn't fallen, because they get that really nice entry kill onto Pizzasaurus, and then they see it in the corner, but it's that slight movement, the slight half check where you think it's going to be clear, and then you realize it isn't, and it's just a little bit too late. That would have been, I believe, a 3v3 or at least a 4v3. No, it would have been a 3v3. So they would have had equal numbers getting into that spike plane. Instead, they never even get the plan off. And to the victors go to the spoils, Wichita State. They will be able to buy here.
The buy can definitely be huge. I'm waiting for that first Elam to come through once again. Can definitely be something in favor of either side. Wichita, they've no doubt got the numbers. A massive opportunity for them. Or excuse me, not the numbers. The guns. That's what I meant to say. They have the proper guns. Sorry, my webcam froze. I was fixing it, but moving in quickly. You know, I'm hesitant. I said quickly almost out of habit rather than what's actually happening. It looks like they're trying to move in quickly, but still playing a little bit slower. I love the smoke up onto the market there, making it a little more difficult for Wichita to play that prevent. 35 HP. I mean, look how low everybody from JMU already is. Okay, GSB clearly the lowest, but I mean, still, the rest of them already kissing death.
Again, they're just super split. I mean, it's a weapons disadvantage, and my personal opinion is if you have sidearms into Spectres or rifles, just always play the numbers advantage. Instead, you're just running in, throwing bodies at them. And yeah, Kaba just gets 2, 3 total. It's sort of the Guardian. Interesting.
I mean, JMU, all 5 of them trying to play the human flashbang, and that's something that only works well for one of us. Kaba with a 4K to seal the deal. Wichita State in a really good position, but Jag, if they win this upcoming round, that almost puts them to the end of the game. If they win this one, that almost guarantees the next, makes it a 10-6. They win that one, it's a 12-6. I mean, there's a very real possibility that Wichita can continue to snowball this. That was a flawless round as well, so they lost nobody.
They didn't. Now it's like, do we buy? It does not look like they're going to take that risk. I think they want to keep what they have. And I mean, you can contest with this, the Ares and the Guardian, your best weapons to work with. I'm really surprised that we see a Guardian over a Bulldog. I've seen the Bulldog be played more and more in the second round, but it's affordable. It's cheap enough you can buy it instead of the Spectre. And then it's a better, in my opinion, matchup against a Vandal or a Phantom just because it has better range and it's not as much of a spray that you have to worry about. But, I mean, on the other hand of this, it's just how many times have we seen James Madison try to approach a site and they're just coming in with already someone in the red?
And get rolled, get absolutely steamrolled. And it's funny that they've fallen for this twice because they were trying to do the same thing, but Wichita played around it. Wichita was making sure to not take that early damage. We're basically looking at a 4v4. Teason's already gone down. Truman finds Zabumafu. I mean, a spray and pray probably takes out this chamber if you're lucky. There's a great opportunity. Oh, no! Wouldn't be a jet clip without a dash into the walls, I always say. Murr finds Truman early. GSP gets that trade onto Kaba. Duraco finding an Elam onto Jeem. This is a round that I truly expected James Madison to lose, even with a statistical advantage. But Pizzasaurus has to give us the absolute play of a lifetime, practically acing the board.
You know what they did differently here, Sep? They did not play split. They played together, even though they were so weak, because they have that strength in numbers, because they approached the point, you know, together, and everyone was kind of uniform about what to do. They were just able to run in. They do lose one more, so this is, you know, not the worst round for Wichita. Still have the lead. Find another, you know, 2 or 2 here. That'd actually be huge. I don't think we're gonna get the defuse here. That point is held on too tightly, but maybe you can force them to die to the spike if they don't run out too quickly.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think we're looking for exit frags here, trying to ruin the econ as much as possible, and what a way to do it. Finding 2 Elims in a 4v1 is definitely a way to reset the economy. James Madison University looking for that tie-up around here. And it's possible. They cannot full buy. It looks like nobody really can. I think Wichita can definitely stretch their econ a bit, make it happen. Yeah, they're going to go for an attempted full buy here. Looks like they're able to do so.
Yeah, they're going to be able to on the side of Wichita, but James Madison doesn't look like they can do. I mean, it's really, do you go for... You could go for the better weaponry, go for the Vandal or Phantom and low for late armor, or go for more protection. It looks like more protection is going to be the way they go. So, Guardian, Spectre, Ares. So, those 2 exit frags that were gotten by Pizzasaurus, just look at the impact they have. Already worse weaponry and another kill right there.
Pizzasaurus really starting to wake up in these last couple of rounds here. Kava with a 2K to seal the deal, and that's already a 5v2. Kava! Oh my goodness! Not quite an ace, but darn tootin' close. What a way to wake back up and prevent the trade, or excuse me, not the trade, the tie. That's the T word I meant to use. Wichita State there now up 9-7, only 4 rounds shy of winning Ascent and taking us to Icebox.
And first of all, how many almost aces have we seen? It's been quite a few. I want to say, yeah, I was gonna say 4 or 5. No one's gotten there quite yet, but we've seen a lot of pop-off plays from some of these players individually. I like that James Madison is playing together a bit more, but it reminds me a lot of what Wichita didn't do, which was they didn't have mid control. These teams are running onto sites without really any information, any clear. They're hoping their smokes will be enough to get them entry. They don't have any initiators like Sky or Breach that can just flash in. Truman, okay.
Truman!
What?
Truman! Oh, it is the Truman show out here, man. My goodness, going in early. I thought it was a one-tap, a one-and-done scenario, but Truman walks in and mows down. What a cleanup coming in from Wichita. They're going to hit double digits.
Well, yes, they are. And, I mean, it is, you know, it's a light buy from James Madison, so it's not, like, the most impressive round overall, but like you said, it's the Truman show. Hopefully, no one's watching him all the time, like, you know, and the reference that I think you're making, but
yes.
With this pause coming in, I think James Madison really has to think about what they want to do here. You talked about how Wichita's comp would work really well on defense, and it is absolutely being executed to a T right now. I think mostly they've been playing really well around their KO as well as their Killjoy utility. So I said before, you know, there's no Breach, there's no Sky, but Killjoy is your initiator, and or KO, excuse me. KO is your initiator, and while I would say the flash drive isn't the most helpful of the flash abilities in the game, it still can really help you get onto a point. So if you are, you know, trusting in your KO and you play behind them at all times and running after them, it can work out really, really well. That time, you know, it's just Truman like dashing and popping off. But in general, like when it's been more of an equal buy, we've seen a lot of play around James' abilities.
Yeah, we were so on the same page there that I thought you said KO. When you corrected yourself, I didn't even notice that you had said the wrong thing, because I was thinking the exact same thing. That was very funny. And this is going to be awkward. This is going to be super awkward, I think, because JMU are in that spot where they have to think as a team, do we full buy this round and try to prevent round 11, or do we save and go into the next one? Because if they lose this round, their economy probably does not recover.
I think we have the answer. They are going to full buy into this. Don't be shocked by the Bucky, though. It will be the tour de force, as I don't think anyone wants to play that game chamber. It's a very scary one where usually you end up losing, but also has that close range. So interesting. They might just hold ankles. That's the first pick they've got in a while, and it's a big one to open things up.
Truman maybe feeling a little confident after that last play. I think it's going to be a price to pay, something to learn. Moving in quick, we had the owl drones hugging for a moment. That always makes me giggle when both Sovas know they're nearby, but you can't do anything about it because you're also in your owl drone. Cabo could have a disgusting angle here with a flash in. Gonna ruin any hope of a spray. I love it. You know, could have sprayed and prayed, but instead goes down to Murr, who, again, has been using those flash drives flawlessly, if I do say so. I've really been impressed with that play style. JMU's risk definitely turning into reward here as DiDoRocco takes down Jeem, and it's a 5v1 all over again. Pizzasaurus, not even a chance to pull the trigger as DiDoRocco wins the game he wanted to play ever so badly. That's 8-10.
It's a big one because DiDoRocco, the only one who didn't have a real weapon there, only had the Bucky, so now they get to upgrade. Everyone gets to keep their money intact. And it just feels like back and forth. So far in this half, it is 4-2. So there's no doubt that Wichita State is getting the better of this. But
for sure,
even with those double digits confirmed, secured, it's only a 2-round lead. It's, you know, it's not too far away from James Madison to tie this up. I'd really love to see Wichita use their ultimates a bit more aggressively. Like, I would love to see them just go for the Blaze Storm right out of here. Truman plays best when they're able to dash out like that and catch JMU off guard. No such luck here, and instead they might just be playing around the 0 point. With this rotation, they've given up mid.
Oh, interesting. I definitely did not suspect the null command to be coming out from James Madison so early, but definitely makes space. It shuts down all KJ util and makes it difficult silences all nearby agents, and I think that's completely the goal. To get out of this site 100% for free. Nobody from Wichita. I mean, this feels like round 2, way back at the beginning of the game, where one site is left wide open and the team capitalizes off the back of it. Wichita now forced into a retake, and they're lacking what I would argue is the most important ult in a scenario like this one, that Hunter's Fury, not yet online. But Truman's got an op, and that may do numbers. Jeem with that first Elam on Zaboomafoo. All about patience here. They found the Elam. What can they do with it?
They had the lockdown too. I'm surprised it hasn't come out. Maybe they just don't use it because there's Hunter's Fury that's on the other side.
Oh! GSB killed the wrong guy.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, they just spraying through the wall and they get the person they are not even shooting.
That is hilarious. We've got a Hunter's Fury now making an appearance, but it's going to be Jeem who's rolling in far too quickly. Noah is a Raph, picks up 2 to die things back up. Jeem trying to find the ace. Can they? No! Truman steals it away. Oh, Truman says it does not get to be the Jeem show. Not today. And no, they've got it. They're good. Easy peasy. Half a second, that's like an eternity, right? They're fine. They're fine. Something I do want to talk about really quickly, though. I know. Something I want to talk about really quickly is Murr, who at one point in the series was 0-4 and is now top of the leaderboard at 14-12. And I think that's interesting because we talked about that way back, the improvement from Murr. And this player performing today, I think, has been a real key factor in the successes of James Madison up to this point.
Yeah, and it just seems like there was a little bit of a miscommunication there. I think there were dueling Hunter's Furies that actually came out at that point, but I think that might have been
totally right.
Noah Zaraf that actually hit up Duraco. So a little bit of friendly fire really opened things up for the recontest from Wichita State. They do use the lockdown, and I think that's why the Hunter's Fury was used there. But now I don't know if the weaponry is going to be there really for James Madison, and at least they're not going to have their Omen to work with. So you can see like they're a little bit scatterbrained, they're a little bit all over the place, and I'm not surprised because they're down 2. This is potentially the penultimate round before this map is over. Like things are kind of falling out of favor for them.
Without a doubt. Such a good word, by the way. Penultimate. Oh, that's like a top 5 Septilence word. I love it.
SAT words, baby.
That's a good word, baby. That's a good word. It looks like Wichita is trying to have a good round here. Starting off, like you said, incredibly early, taking 2 eliminations off the board. 5v3. We've actually seen Wichita clutch a 3-5 earlier, but, you know, that was Wichita. It wasn't JMU. They haven't been in this scenario yet. Truman missing a pretty early op shot onto the Sova. I think Sova dying right there would have absolutely sealed the deal in a round win, but him still standing, that's a lot of utility to be used. That Owl Drone, those shock darts can go a long way for a team stuck in a situation just like this one. Duraco playing a careful mid-game. Could possibly go into a 1v1 with Kaba here.
I think at this point you want to force those 1v1s if possible, because I mean, the rotations there from Wichita, even if you get that one elimination, you're probably going to get traded. So if you're able to find someone out of position or just zoned out from everyone else, it would be huge. But that, putting down the rendezvous completely gives away where you are. I don't know if they're caught out, though. I think they were able to teleport through.
I think they get the teleport off, the Omen overextending. You know, I don't think they know if that was the rendezvous or if that was the chamber slow. Thiessen has decided, though, the round is over whether this chamber rendezvous or not. He's going to rendezvous with a lot of his friends up in heaven here in a moment as Pizzasaurus takes Duraco off the table and wins the 12th round for Wichita State. Pressure on now. It's going to be a risky one. JMU, they've got... Do they have an econ? No, not really.
Yeah, they did buy last round. I wasn't sure if they would. I was expecting they wouldn't, honestly, because I feel like this is the round you have to save for, but they go for it. Before they risked it for the biscuit, they got that biscuit this time. No biscuit to be found. They are starting at match point in the face, not series point. They still have at least one more lifeline if they lose out here. Operator buy. I mean, why not, right? It's either you're going to win or lose here anyway, or at least stay alive. So they're going to try to use the most expensive gun in the game to help get that 9th round on the board. They're still going to deal with Thiessen in this Odin, and I think Thiessen's been quiet, but it's been
double kill
last
round.
Yeah, I mean, they're just holding on to this B site. I would say, honestly, try to go for A. Like, I don't think they've tried... Had they even really pushed on to A this round?
I can't remember if they have. I think we saw one on, like, round 3 of the second half, and then after that, it's just been B site, B site, B site over and over. And I feel like Wichita State's B site feels incredibly clean to the point where I would lose that twice and then probably think, okay, let's not go there anymore. Let's try our A site and see how that works out. But it looks like, oh, maybe JMU's finally listening. We've got at least a fake of a rotation. Spike headed toward A site right now. And GSB already doing a good job making noise, making space perhaps, if they can win this, you know, unbeknownst to them, 2v1.
Paranoia, the timing isn't there. I don't think it hit anyone, but they still get the kill. But the knife back.
Pizzasaurus hunted to extinction there, and from the heavens, the jet drops down on top of you, probably jump scares Kaba, and Zabumafu is the one to clean up the kill. This is a 3v3. Jag, this can absolutely go either way. We've got a lot of ultimates at the ready from Wichita.
Rotation.
One in use from JMU right now, but the next elim will probably be the one to indicate how these dominoes fall, and Duraco will be the one to seal the deal, taking out Thiessen early. Truman trying to follow that chamber quickly, but not quickly enough. Misses the shot! And, oh, Truman misses quite a few as well. Lives to tell the tale. We're tied back up 2-2.
2-2, 2 members weak on either side. GSB has to know that there's someone coming in from market where that last elimination came from, so they're just going to hold on to Garage as long as humanly possible. Cut off by the cloud smoke. They have to walk through this now.
Oh, Zabumafu takes out Truman. Can we see the 2v1 clutch? There's one! Where's the other? And that Omen, I mean, he is hurt.
1 health.
1 HP, Jag. A fraction of an action will take this Omen down, and he will be completely removed from the matchup. He's got to play his cards, but even a wallbang kills without a doubt.
Has to find the one tap. You have to
Flash
find
drive.
the one tap.
Flash drive. Oh, and he misses. Oh, it's over. Oh, oh, that's a bummer. I really thought he could have had that one, but like you said, the one tap, one shot, one opportunity. He had his moment, and he let it slip. Wichita State, they're going to come through with a 13-8 victory here on Ascent. I've got to say, what an entertaining map.
Yeah, and I think we really got to quickly talk about this KO on the side of Wichita, because we talked a lot about the one on the other side, but both KOs honestly put on one heck of a performance for their teams. I'm thinking about the one that we just saw from Wichita, like they were not at the top of the leaderboard, but they actually were out fragging the one that was on the side from James Madison. That's just how well they were doing overall. Yeah, so just great performances there. In the end, very clutch plays. And unfortunately, that is going to be good night. And in case you don't see us, good afternoon, good evening, as well as good morning for this map, because Ascent is going to be put into the books here. Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was like, what's the
That was
Truman
good.
Show quote? I was thinking about it. But
I like that a lot. That was a good reference.
I feel like both teams really looked good on defense, but
yeah.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it was a little bit better on attack for the side of Wichita, and that's what pushed them over the edge to win this one.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I'm excited because our second map after this very small break that we're going to take here is going to be Icebox, and I'm really excited because Icebox has called for a lot of changes, but rather than map changes, I'm excited to see agent changes because you absolutely cannot run the compositions we just saw over on Icebox. We'll talk about that when we get back. Everybody use this time, get water, get a snack, do what you got to do. Come right back here for some more ECAC Valorant in just a couple of minutes.
Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. You're offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 Classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground and the cards is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a sore. I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore. Just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big. Jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little. My God is real big. Stayed up on the ground and the cards is real big. I gotta do it big. The only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to. Back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big. Foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a
Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome back for some more ECAC Esports Valorant Edition. I am still Septilance, joined by Jag, and we have currently Wichita State University up 1-0 over James Madison. But Jag, that one map lead may not be as comfortable as they want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, it was a pretty decisive win. I'd say like the score was close, but especially as we got into those later rounds, it seemed like Wichita, they were pulling away. But this was a matchup we saw in the regular season. Again, Wichita playing with subs, but regardless, they ended up losing that 1-2-1. That third game went to extra rounds over time, so there's a lot that was played out there. So even though they have, they have the series in their hands, they have that series point not too far away. Remember, if they win this, they move on to those grand finals, into that prize pool to get the top prize. It's not guaranteed just yet, especially because the next map, Icebox, is going to be James Madison's pick.
Oh, and I love Icebox. I mean, I was talking about the changes that we saw in this map. I keep saying earlier as if it happened earlier today, but it didn't. It happened a little while ago, and it's something that I really think could make some massive changes, right? We've seen it change a lot of collegiate choices. Our lineup Larrys have to change their gameplay a little bit. Our Sovas, our Vipers, I mean, they're players that have to really shake up. Or our Brimstones, we'll include Brimstone too, why not? They're players that have to really change their play style on that B side in particular. A side has stayed almost completely to the same, at least to the point where lineups aren't being drastically changed, but B-site really shaken up. A lot of massive changes have come through, and it's definitely changed how the game has played. I feel at the collegiate level, and feel free to disagree with this because this may be incorrect, but I feel we see teams attack B-site much more often than A-site, and I wonder if that's due to the new changes, if that's due to comfortability, or if that's so their lineup Larrys can just go out and have a good time.
You know, honestly, I think it's a bit more 50-50. I think before it actually used to be a lot more B. I think now that with those changes, it's become A little bit more. I think we've also seen a lot more Omen than Viper. But you know what? I also love to see a lot of Septilance. I love to see the Nova Legion because they know you play to win, to stand out from the competition. You need equipment that matches the speed of your thoughts and actions. The Legion Y25 monitor delivers wins in the toughest, most critical situations.
Jack, you know what's crazy about that? Talking about these critical situations where these players have to play to their absolute extremes is with its extreme 1ms response time to its insane 240 hertz refresh rate. The Legion Y25 doesn't just keep up, but does a lot more. It's built for those engaged in vast multiplayer battles at the tournament level. The Legion Y25 offers a 24.5-inch FHD IPS panel with built-in NVIDIA G-Sync compatibility, and the Legion Y25 monitor is available at Lenovo.com and other fine retailers.
All right, so looking at these compositions coming in after we talk about how much we love Lenovo Legion. It's pretty standard from what I see from James Madison. I think the big change, from what we saw maybe a few months ago is no Reyna. It's going to be the Chamber instead. Yeah, don't we all? I mean, honestly, now that Fade's coming in, it's like, oh, this is Reyna and cooler Reyna, and it's like, man, poor Reyna. But on the other side, very interesting. We're going to see the KO come out once more instead of the Sage. So the double Viper and Sage will not be available for Wichita. However, I mean, with how Gene played off of those 0 points, the fragments, the flash drives, like, this might be the right pick to go of anyway, especially with them being on attack first. They're going to have a lot of aggression.
Yeah, I think you brought up a really good point there, actually. I even out loud said, no way. I was surprised they didn't go for the Sage, but you're absolutely correct. With the consistency we've seen Gene playing KO, I'm not surprised to see them sticking to it. That, however, then proposes the question, how is Mur going to perform? I think swapping from KO to playing Sage, I mean, you might as well be playing a full different game.
I mean, not the way I play it, honestly, but yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm flanking on everyone. It doesn't matter what agent I'm playing. I'm going to be in your backline before you know it. But yeah, it's definitely a bit different. Walls. I think, in general, I feel like KO is a little bit less costly if you lose them early on. You do lose some of your entry, you do lose some of your suppression, but keeping your Sage alive, like in a 2v2, if you have that healing orb, if you have that wall, can make a whole world of a difference. And 0 point is going to still be one of the best abilities in the game regardless, but it's not going to be as effective as being able to heal someone on the spot, especially if they're weak. And that extra healing that you get done, that 40 HP you give back to someone, that's the difference maker in like a gunfight, especially in these early rounds. That's going to be the main difference. So I think Mur has to play a little bit safer here. We'll see, what their play style is like, how they adapt from being on the initiator to the sentinel.
Playing safer is something Zabulfu might not be doing. Currently reaching up and under tube there through kitchen. I thought they were going to express into middle, but instead playing a lot slower, rotating around toward that B site once again. But it looks like the attack is going to be on A. Wichita coming in quick, and I always say on almost every map in the game, the pistol round almost always ends up on A site. I feel like very rarely do we see an exception to that rule. And it looks like we're going to be sticking to that right now. Truman trying to get some intel early, or at least some info on where somebody's at. I mean, very clearly we see James Madison playing a slower game, playing a much more comfortable game, waiting for Wichita to push into them because they know Wichita has to eventually.
They do use the wall, though, very early on. I actually thought that wall was kind of advantageous for the attackers. That's where you usually want the wall if you're on attack, but does deter Wichita State for the moment, at least. Now they're going to be trying to clear this area out. That drone might have caught a glimpse of someone. Now it's definitely going to catch up to them. Yeah, now they've tagged them up, so now they definitely know where this chamber is running off to. But this is really where we're going to see the test of time. Because, like you said, a lot of teams don't try to take this B site because the Sage Wall is very expensive, and usually you want to use the Sage Wall here. There is no Sage Wall for Wichita. They have to play off of their Viper Wall as really their only line of defense.
Oh, what? Kappa!
That was
what a shot!
Kappa.
Oh, that was nuts, Truman. Oh my goodness. It's a bloodbath now. It's over.
Yeah, I was like, Kappa more like Kappa. That was incredible. Just
check his PC.
Check for the hacks, because the fact they get off of that plant so quickly.
How'd they even look up that fast?
I don't know. We've seen this a few times from Duraco, unfortunately, where they have the angle, and I think it might be nerves, it might just be the moment, and they just aren't able to get their crosshair at the exact perfect place that they need it to be. There is a perfect example of that. We saw it a few times on Ascent, especially with the Tour de Force, had the lineup, didn't end up pressing their left mouse button, it ended up costing them dearly. That's going to cost them this round early on. And with that, we're going to see a bye. Wichita State, a Phantom, and 2 Guardians. This is a very expensive buy, and if this goes wrong, they put these guns in the hands of James Madison somehow, then it'll be a big mistake that they bought out this much.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, they are full spending right now. Wait, I meant to say full sending, but I accidentally made a really good joke.
Honestly.
I meant to say full sending. I mean, a Phantom and 2 Guardians is absolutely something to watch out for. And there's another great example. Kaba winning 2 1v1s in a row. I mean, that was almost a 2v1, but Zabumafu's peak was a little bit too slow. And then they're costing both their lives. A 5v3 GSB has a classic, and that's it right now, Jack. This is a round already looking very comfortably in favor of Wichita. If they win this one flawless, I mean, that's just icing on the cake, and it looks like they're getting ready to do that. Only one Sova left. He's got a classic to his name, and by golly, is he going to try to use it?
It's also interesting. I didn't realize this until now, but Pizzasaurus, I mean, they have swapped onto the chamber, so the chamber's still there, but different person playing it, so we're going to see how that's played out early. Oh, Truman, he's going to lose that one out, so it's not flawless, but they don't give up their weapon. I think that was a Vandal, yeah, so that's the...
Oh, you're right.
That's the best gun, so that's really important that they saved that. So that's a big win for that, at least. Now, it looks like they're going to get another Vandal. All right, they really want to win this round. This is a bit of a commitment, buying another Vandal out here. Actually, it looks like they sold it, so never mind.
No, I think they just passed. Yeah, they just passed one back to Truman. And then
okay, that's what it was. All right, all right. So they're not going to overcommit here, but if they do win this round and get this third one on the board, especially with what they have, that completely starts to snowball Wichita State's lead. Like, this is a round that James Madison should win, but honestly, there's a lot more firepower than you usually used to. It's usually just Spectres.
Murr lives to tell the tale, has the flank of a lifetime right now if he chooses to take it. But I think he's lost intel on where they're at. Pizzasaurus going to be hunted to extinction by Zabumafu, and Thiessen finds one, Kaba finds another, and it's going to be numbers advantage back in favor of Wichita State. Truman takes out Murr in the midfield here, and it's going to be a 4-2 lineup. This is a very tough situation. Wichita, like you said, and I completely agree, if they win this one, I think the snowball is going to turn into a glacier at some point, because this should put them statistically around a 4 or 5-0.
It's going to be an avalanche. It's going to continue.
That's the one, not a glacier.
It's going to go on. I mean, glaciers, you know, it's cold. We're in an ice box.
The theme was the same.
Yeah, you're on the right track. But yeah, I mean, I think their Murr had a really nice flank, but the timing isn't there, and because of that, Wichita State able to win some really nice gunfights with sheriffs. I mean, it wasn't even the Guardian. I think there was 2 sheriffs eliminations that I saw there. Now they get to pick up more weaponry. They still have a nice economy. So this, for all intents and purposes, should be a 4-0. They could even commit the Viper's Pit here if they really wanted to, really to secure this round, especially because it's so early on. They have it already. They'll get it back later on. Kaba has not died yet. Neither is Jeem, but Jeem's only also gotten 1 elimination. Kaba is 5-0 through 3 rounds. I might just say use the Viper's Pit now just to really make sure you secure this piece. But let's not forget, both these teams got really nice thrifty rounds on Ascent.
Right. Without a doubt. I think the Viper's Pit works super well here. And if we're talking statistics, you've got 5 elims per 3 rounds. You're dropping a Viper's Pit every 4 rounds, right? I mean, you could definitely be putting them out pretty consistently. 3 in the first half if you want to follow the statistic far enough, but it's going to depend. There it is. Okay, perfect. I love the impression we're seeing here. I love the use of the Viper's Pit, and it looks even better as Wichita has already found 2 elims. Diderocto takes out Pizzasaurus, but we're going to need a lot more than that to seal the deal. A 4v3 with an ult advantage in favor of Wichita. They've already got that spike down now. So James Madison, they're racing the clock like nobody's business.
It falls though.
Things looking better though.
Diderocto's gotten 3, and now they've got a weapon to their name. They still have a full health pool. They don't have any armor. 2v2 though.
2v1.5. Zabubu from 42 HP. I'd say definitely 1 bullet from death. Jumps down into the 1 just to enter the Viper's Pit. Such a risky play, but one we've seen pay off before. Diderocto interrupts Kaba's show-stopping performance, and is that the elimination we need? It absolutely is. Kaba now rocking at 7-0. Wichita State, they're up 4-0. I think this is where... Oh, that was scary. I think this is where JMU has... I think this is their last round, rather, before they can commit to it. Oh, no, never mind. They're going to make it work. They're going to full buy here.
I think it's based off of the eliminations they got, because they do get quite a few eliminations, most of that on the back of Diderocto, but because of that, they do have a little bit more money to spend overall, which means they get the operator here, which will do very nicely on defense, as long as the left mouse button is being pressed. I think the big thing is Murr, GSB, both of them really struggling so far. I mean, they're both 0 and 4. That is not... I mean, I guess it's not as bad for a Sage.
Oh!
That's huge. Getting rid of Kaba, that's their first death.
That was nuts! The jump shot! Oh, that was crazy. Before the next firefight happens, I do want to talk about Murr, who at one point on Ascent was also 0-4, and then came back and top fragged for the team. So there's definitely the Murr factor, which can absolutely come through, and maybe that player can really start to step it up. But top fragging on Sage, as cool as it sounds, shouldn't be happening. There should definitely be other people who are beating Sage out for elims, and GSB should absolutely be one of them. Takes out Truman early. Murr gonna find an elimination as well. Jeem takes out GSB, but it's a 4v2 in favor of JMU. A massive opportunity for them to come through and win this round. Murr finding Jeem. It is up to Thiessen to try and save the day, and Murr drops a 3K to seal the deal, putting those elims back on the board.
That is a very important round, especially this early on. Being able to finally get on the board 5 rounds in. Means that you got a chance. You keep your operator as well, so that expensive buy is worthwhile. A very nice opening pick by Duraco. And I gotta say, these last 2 rounds are really seeing this Chamber player come to life on Ascent.
Yeah.
Had some nice plays on the defense. Overall on offense, so didn't look like they were making much of an impact. If they can keep this up, like I call it the Yay factor, just, as someone who works for Optic, Yay could just absolutely just take over a game on Chamber. It's very possible,
Right.
especially with your rendezvous being able to teleport in and out of danger. So if they keep this up, keep the operator in their own hands, continue to find those one taps early on, it can completely take this out of Wichita State's favor. Good news for Wichita State, still have a nice economy. I really like this early timeout, actually. They've only lost 1 round, but they're trying to assess how to play this now that there's going to be an equal buy on the playing field. I really like this idea of just let's stop the bleeding early. Let's not let them get back into this. Let's figure out our plan and then just move forward with it.
Let's make it an 11-1 half, right? And I wonder if Truman goes for a gun here, or if they're going to try to get orb early and go for a blade storm instead, because they've got the econ, absolutely. But if Wichita loses this, I don't think they have the full econ for the next round. But if Truman instead goes for the blade storm, that can then kind of stop the bleeding of their own, so somebody else's gun in for the next round, and that can work well. I wonder if that's the plan they're going to try to bring out here, or if they're going to go for something else. They're going to go for that full vandal buy. So like you said, they're trying to stop this right here, right now.
And I think that maybe the idea is, if we lose this, we still have the blade storm at least to work with later on, so it's not the end of the world. We'll see if it pans out that way. Hunter's Fury is available. I think that's really the big breadwinner here. If they get that plant and then they're able to play far enough back, they have the Sova alive, you can just use that as a deterrent to make sure they don't get the defuse.
Oh, Pizzasaurus takes Duraco out early, and that operator is off the table. 5v4. That's going to be the go button for Wichita to get in and try to find these elims. Truman has the updraft, has the smokes after ready, and is already deep in the back line. The flash finds one straight away, but Jeem is there. Noah trades out Jeem. All of a sudden, it's a 3v2. Barely on top is Wichita State. One more elim can help them seal the deal. Decent. I love it, covering 2 options at once. The Hunter's Fury goes a little bit far off to the side, and that guarantees a spike plant. Noah has to give up on it early as Kaba is in the back line. 2v1. Noah struggling to get into sight, and I doubt going to be able to do much even if he does get in.
Hey, don't count him out just yet. We have seen 1v2s go the way of Wichita time and time again, but with these angles,
too good.
Yeah, I would say with these angles being covered, probably not. But in the one gunfight, 70 health in a dream.
Oh, that stinks. I mean, the angle was perfect. Maybe it was crosshair placement that really sealed the deal. Noah going in quick with the shock dart onto Pizza, who has to rendezvous out to not take damage. Not how you want to be handling this. Noah probably going to look for half here before standing back up, and that's exactly what comes to play. Pizza is able to find that elim and win the round for Wichita. Jag, that was definitely a lot closer than I think anybody wanted it to be.
Don't keep the operator. Okay, so not gonna be playing around that, which makes sense. But you could maybe set up Truman with that somewhere, or Pizzasaurus. But instead, gonna just let it go into the void, get that lead back, or continue that lead. Excuse me. And they have 4 ultimates here, so that was a pretty big round. Here's the thing now: if you're James Madison, Rocket's gonna use the Tour de Force. GSB does have the Blade Storm, so you're gonna work around what you don't have with your ultimates. But we've seen that previously, and I don't think it worked out last time when they tried to use the Blade Storm as well as the Tour de Force in tandem.
You are powerless.
Hunter's Fury, this is what I was talking about last round. It's going to stop the defuse. It's going to get the pick. It's going to get 2 picks. Truman does get traded out. But that's really nice. The Nanoswarm there also. Not the Nanoswarm, excuse me, the Fragment. And now, Blade Storm out. And they're just trying to go for the defuse, but GM is going to run in. GM's going to find 1. GSB's going to find 3, but there's not enough time to get onto it, and everyone's going to fall. The knife kill on top of it all. Kaba might end up falling, but they secure the round. And wow, it seems like James Madison, they're losing these out, but they are continuing to find picks, and that might be the most important thing, is there's still time, but maybe not a way to get to 6-6 once more.
Yeah, I mean, 6-6 is going to be difficult in that knife kill, but I definitely saw with my own eyes and was not having tech issues was crazy.
So
I mean,
Kaba, I'll give the play-by-play for you. Just Kaba just drops down from zipline and just goes chunk like as time expires. It's just like they're gonna both fall anyway. It's just absolute BM, and I am all for it.
I love it. I love it. I'm all for the classy BM. I'm totally with you on that one, Jack. And now Wichita taking a page right out of James Madison's book, bringing out the Blade Storm and the Tour de Force in tandem here in this round. What are we in? Round 8. They find even 1E limit keeps momentum in their favor, and a 7-5. That's still a guaranteed lead for Wichita in the second half, but I'm not sure 7's where that number is going to stop for them with the momentum they've got right now.
Yeah, I do like James Madison's attempt to, maybe find some value here in this light buy is just running down mid and finding someone out. Unfortunately, what you've done here is you've given up the point completely. So A, free for the taking, positioning will be good. Wichita State did use the Hunter's Fury already, so you don't have to worry about that if you go for the defuse, but this retake's going to be incredibly difficult.
That was a huge shock dart as well, finding purchase onto the Viper, and I think onto the Jet a little bit as well. The gamble stack really not working well in favor of Wichita there. Thiessen trying to get a little bit of action on the corner, going to walk right into a 2v1. However, nobody lands a bullet in either direction. It's going to be Noah with that first blood, taking Truman down early, finding Kevin not far behind. Thiessen picks up 1, needs to find 2 more for the equalizer. Pizzasaurus and Jeem ready to clean things up, but GSB has the sheriff and is the sheriff in town. Pizzasaurus using that tour de force to clean up the site. My goodness, a bloodbath from the heaven there, and it is going to be a 7-1 lead for Wichita.
Pizzasaurus, the Sentinel player, I feel like they're having one hell of a game here on this chamber. I mean, Killjoy, like, they did what they needed to do, right? Like, the utility usage was on par with what they needed, but the kills were not nearly as high as they are right now. Only 1 behind Kappa and Thiessen. I mean, all of them fragging out pretty well on the side of Wichita State. That lead is secured. James Madison stopped this from snowballing. I mean, you said it before, like, we're just going to get that 11-1. That's what Wichita State was saying in that little pause that they had. It looks like they're well on their way. This is going to be one of the few buys James Madison has been able to secure. I did see an operator. Duraco was, doing better than they were previously. They really need to be the rock, I think, here. The top dog that is needed for the side of James Madison, whose mascot is a dog.
Works out well. They've got to live up to their own expectation, right? The mascot that has been set needs to be the top dog. And like you said, Wichita, they're absolutely the top dog right now, keeping this momentum moving. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see an 11-1 half with the way they've been able to control, all approaches, all rotations. They're even winning retakes, which is, I believe, statistically the hardest thing to do in a game of Valorant for a team. Retaking a point is incredibly difficult, and it looks like Duraco is going to try to find an opening frag here in mid, but nobody's going to be hanging out. Already up and through tube into kitchen. Kaba looking for that first elim instead.
I just hear, like, the Jaws theme playing in my head of Kaba just on this rotation, on this flank. Depends on timing. Oh, they might be able to find out Mur, but might be able to find out someone else instead. There is going to be the running.
Oh my goodness. I cannot believe that. Kaba goes down, tries to shoot the chamber util, and instead he gets taken out by Noah. It's a 4v4, though the instant trade comes through. Pizzasaurus tanks a couple of bullets, but lives to tell the tale. Here comes a Hunter's Fury from Noah. That is a fascinating choice, especially with Thiessen standing there like fish in a barrel. Noah going to go down, finding Squad. Thiessen taking out a third. Unfortunately, cannot react fast enough for that fourth. Mur getting the res onto Noah, and we are back into a 3v3. Okay,
and that's 2v3. So you talk about what the Sage can do in these situations. Very big res there. But the angle right now is still very nice to the side of Wichita State. However, they don't have the Soba, which is what you need. But they do potentially have the fragment. I'm not sure if that's online right now. If it is, that's huge. But the wall might be too much to overcome.
Oh, I don't think so. They were there to shoot it fast enough. So Bumafu takes out Truman in the grapple in, using the rope, but no, pulls out the classic, and that is not going to cut it. Very close, but no cigar for Wichita State's 8th round. James Madison finally putting their 2nd round on the board. It's been pretty quiet, winning that one by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, and I think you've said that phrase a few times because that's what's felt like. I mean, there's definitely been momentum for James Madison. Like, they've lost a few rounds, but they were a lot closer. Like, the last 2 in particular that they lost, like, I think, they only left, like, 1 or 0 alive for the side of Wichita State. So even though Wichita State has this great lead, you can see their economy is not great. Like, they have had to continue to rebuy and rebuy and rebuy, which leads them to a situation where they actually might be at an equal or disadvantage, depending on how this goes. It looks like they will have better weaponry, but a little bit of light armor. Viper's Pit, Hunter's Fury, Null Command all ready to go. Like, even though they have this lead, I really would love to see them use these ultimates in advance.
Oh, interesting. Duraco somehow not landing even a single bullet? I'm fascinated on kind of
I'm not sure if you can Yeah, I think you can wallbang through part of that, but something that's reinforced.
I think so. Interesting. So that must have just been a reinforced location. Truman going to be going in quick, finding DiDuraco and taking them offline. Full possession of Kitchen for Wichita State. And I feel like when they get Kitchen, they usually win the round, especially with the numbers advantage like the 4-5 they have. Noah there with an Ares, though, able to take Truman out early.
Powerless.
No command. That is certainly a choice. I'm not against it, but I didn't expect it.
I mean, if you fall, you could get a res onto them, but it's pretty dangerous. I'm most interested about GSP. The fact that they got behind. I mean, there was definitely information. Yeah, Gene is waiting for it. They know that someone's behind because they saw the rotation through mid.
Right.
But can they win the gunfight?
If they get the element of surprise, which they did not, and they lose the fight, that's going to be unfortunate too. A Spectre, no less. GSP quick into sight here. Here comes a Hunter's Fury. A fascinating choice, but Wichita looks like it's going to work out well for them. Already tied things back up 2-2, and that is going to be another round win. A day late and $1 short. The defuse does come through. Wichita, bright side, they get the cleanup on it.
They do, but I mean, the hesitation there, I was really surprised. I think Thiessen was trying to delay it.
Yeah.
I think they probably were expecting that no one was holding it, but that third shot in particular coming out just a bit too late to stop the defuse. That's a round they probably should have won. It's not the end-all be-all quite yet, but Wichita State, it means at best they get a 9-3. It could be 5-7 if this continues to roll on like it has. I mean, you do, again, like, the cleanup is there, like he said, so James Madison doesn't get to keep anything. They have only 2 Vandals to their name and then a bunch of other sporadic weapons. The Null Command being the ultimate to come out instead of the Viper Spit, I think, is a big no-no in that scenario. I would love to see the Viper Spit be used there, especially after they took over the point. It was really the rotations that got them.
I mean, I couldn't even help myself. We all heard me go, wait a minute. Like, I was definitely surprised by that null command, but the Hunter's Fury, or not the Hunter's Fury, the Viper's Pit, I highly suspect to come out in this round. It's already been used, and Truman going down early is absolutely going to hurt James Madison. Owl Drone probably has the ability to get some great recon down into the storm. DiDuraco walks in and puts down 2 on the side of Wichita State. James Madison, they're definitely starting to find their stride here in the first half, Dragon. That 5-7 feeling more and more likely at the speed. Kaba, though, goes in deep, able to find 2 elims. It's a 2v3 back in favor, or excuse me, still in favor of James Madison, but getting closer and closer. Kaba goes down. That takes out the Viper's Pit, and it becomes that much harder for them to do much of anything. Pizzasaurus goes for the elim and gets tapped by GSB. That is a barrel to the dome situation. That's the 4th round. They're 1 away from that 7-5.
We've seen a few times now Truman going way too close to the sun. I mean, they are very far forward. But the biggest thing I've noticed is that their positioning of where they're putting their crosshair is nowhere near where the enemy ends up being. And I'm thinking maybe it's a ping issue, but it looks like their ping is, you know, in reason right here at 24. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on. They were a big factor in winning Ascent. They've had a much quieter game here, and that's not something you want here, especially knowing that you had such a big lead. Now you've given up 3 rounds in a row. It could be 5-7, which means if James Madison wins the pistol, if they win this, it's tied up again. Like, you were so far ahead, and you're really starting to fall behind. I mean, we're seeing Guardian buys here. They can't even full buy in this last round.
We were 7-1 at one point, and now we're 7-4. It's starting to turn into a 7-5 here, Jack. Truman already down and out. That star-studded player from Ascent, like you said, is not going to be there in time to do much of anything. Jeem walks right into DiDuraco. Merc cleans up Kaba already. 5v2. This might be a flawless to seal the deal in the first half.
Yeah, it's looking like it. They're just pouncing from all corners.
Wow.
There it is. Blaze Storm not even needed. What a comeback from James Madison. And I gotta say, this Sage Viper combination, I think it looks even better. It looks better on attack because you just put the Sage Wall down, and then you use... I mean, you saw how they used the Sage Wall this time. Like, once the spike was planted, they used it as the retake option. Just put it down and then try to defuse behind it. This time, they just put it down early. They fuse on it, and then the Viper Wall comes up after. Like, it's a bread and butter play. There's a reason why the double wall has been a strategy on Icebox for so long, even with the changes, even with new agents coming in. It's just the best play. And I mean, we saw Mur. I mean, Mur's actually having a really good impact again, having a really good game after being quiet. Now top fragging once more. Think about that res, you know, a few rounds ago. I don't think they won that round, but the fact that they made it so close, that they took so much money out of Wichita's hands there, was a big part of why they were able to get so close here in the scoreline.
This is the reset button. This is the time. If James Madison wins this, like you mentioned, Jag, they should statistically tie things up 7-7 and possibly take a lead afterward, forcing us to that map 3 once again. James Madison has taken Wichita to map 3 before. Would not be a first, and it would be an exciting one. I love Bind. It's one of my favorites. Wichita State, though, if they win this, they can take it 9-5, maybe bump it all the way up to that 13 if they're lucky.
Yeah, this is a very important round for both teams. Whichever one gets this should have a good amount of momentum going into this half.
Oh, Truman with an early Elam onto DiDoracco, who's been a real power player so far. This chamber feels a lot more comfortable than what we were seeing on Ascent. Jeem goes in quick for the Ninja Defuse, trying to set it off, but the Shock Dart takes a lot off of Jeem's health bar. 41 HP, GSB down quite a bit as well. Kaba finds the trade straight away. Zabumafu taking down Kaba, and it is a 3v3 across the board.
The angles, though, they're being
Just a
covered.
game of chicken. Oh! Murr had the download, and Murr's cleaning it up. A double kill to come through. 34 HP and a Dream walking right up to Thiessen and finding the right click. All 3 bullets straight to the dome, and Thiessen gonna fall. That is a pistol round win. 6-7, Jag. It is feeling more and more likely.
4 health, and that's all they needed to survive there. And you think that Wichita State, if they maybe had done that, like they had a really good play where I think Kaba and Truman peaked together. It was someone in Kaba. I can't remember who. Kaba gets the kill. Somebody. It's trade. They are able to clear out like the right side of the yellow box, but then they just peek in one by one. They're not playing together. Because of that, it seems like Murr gets to live, Murr gets to clutch that round, and Murr continues to top frag.
That's so funny because earlier on this map I said, you never want to top fragging Sage. Somebody else should be doing that.
No, bring out the battle Sage, dude. Bring it out. I love it.
I was going to say, Murr, really, I mean, outliving an expectation here. Absolute battle Sage and doing it well. Not overcommitting utility, not, you know, getting elims at the cost of their teammates. This has really been a strong performance so far. DiDoracco finding Pizzasaurus, Thiessen already down as well. And James Madison, it's their map pick after all, and it looks like they're going to try their darndest to continue running away with it. Truman finds DiDoracco. Here comes a Viper with a shotgun, but she misses far too many bullets for comfort. USB finding a double kill. Oh, 3v1. Can Truman save the day? 26 HP. Unfortunately, the odds just stacked against them. And Jag, this was a 7-1 at one point. We are now tied up 7-7.
Yes, we are. And I mean, if you're a Wichita fan, probably thinking, man, this is falling out of our grasp. The good news, though, is Truman starting to show some signs of life. 3 kills in the last 2 rounds. I think that is a major improvement over what we saw before.
No doubt.
You get to buy here. I mean, you do let James Madison tie it up, but you're playing for this bonus. That's why you saved last round. Now you get it. You get the better weaponry. If you lose this one, that's when I think you start panicking, realistically. Because you bring it up to 8-7, 9-7 is totally possible when the equal buy comes through. But it has to start here. This bonus has to go your way. If it doesn't, you're going to be in a whole world of hurt.
Yeah, this bonus absolutely, undoubtedly has to go in favor of Wichita State here. This is a round they are expected to win. This can be, you know, maybe their last chance to flop momentum back in their favor once again. If they lose this one, Jag, it will be nothing short of disastrous. I mean, truly Armageddon for this team if they do not win this round right here, right now.
Yeah, and you know, as a defender, don't have a lot of advantages here. You just kind of wait for them to push in, but now you know where they are. That's a lot of recon actually there.
Take flight.
You're forcing James Madison to, you know, second guess themselves here because they take a lot of damage. Maybe they're just trying to get utility out. Pizzasaurus here's on the flank.
Pizzasaurus gotta find this one tap and does. There goes one player down early, 2 more waiting on the horizon. Peeks into a 2v1, unfortunately, and that is not going to be the cleanup you're looking for. Thiessen finds Zabumafu, and that's a massive elim in favor of Wichita. They've only lost 1 player. If they can win this without losing another, that will be phenomenal. But if they go down, you know, if they win this with 1 player left standing, all that econ is down the drain.
Yeah, winning. I mean, it's like losing, but having a win condition for going forward. We always talk about getting at least 2 kills is very important. I think they're actually just going to walk right past them.
Oh, I just got jump scared and I knew he was coming. Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. Truman finds GSB. It's up to the chamber to save the day. DiDoracco finds 1, but the trade comes through straight away. 3-1, 3-0, rather. Wichita State. That's not the end of the world. I think 3 living is probably the worst case scenario, or the worst best case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, if they had get 4, it would have been perfect because then they probably could have bought for the last person, but you're going to see here that it looks like James probably going to have to go for a Spectre instead, but other than that, like, not the end of the world. It is a force buy from Truman, though, so Truman and GM really have no economy. DiDoracco's going for, I think we saw this combination before, they're going for the Bucky, but again, don't be to see if they have the Tour de Force, that's going to be their main weapon. So, all in all, it is actually a slight advantage to James Madison here. And if they're tied this up, I mean, Wichita State will have nothing left, and DiDoracco should be able to get this first elim if they peak. But let's see Kaba. So Kaba going to be a little bit wiser there and just back out.
No one knows somebody's on the back of site, but I believe he's not completely aware of how many there really are. A lot of information against James Madison. They know 3 people are on the A side right now. Thiessen going for a mild, I'm not going to call it an overextension yet, but we're definitely getting to that barrier. And those overextensions have absolutely cost this team quite a few times before. Truman knows somebody's trying to approach that B long, but it feels to me, even James Madison isn't completely sure what they want to do here.
I think they're just trying to find a default pick, which you've seen them play off of a few times.
Oh!
There it is. And with that, they have numbers advantage. Now they can run in, and it looks like A is going to be the target, but they do get traded out.
I'm shocked that trade worked as well as it did. I was terrified of the tour de force. That was an overextension from Thiessen, just like I didn't want to see. And it's going to be that 4-4, though. Luckily enough, Subumufu went down. It's not going to cost Wichita anything too drastically. Flash through from GM was great. Oh, and GSB dashes into the crosshair. The headshot comes through with the jet going down. That is a real power player off the board on the side of James Madison.
In this box, this is like one of the main changes. It's gonna be not great for Wichita State, but it doesn't matter. They get the last kill anyway. Now Duraco, you might have the tour de force, you don't have the spike.
Oh! That's a clean shot.
If that was a collateral, I think then you just run in, right? If that's a collat, like you just...
absolute. You just hard send.
Yeah, you just, with 10 seconds left, you just hope for the best there. But I was honestly shocked that wasn't a collateral. I thought they were lined up.
Yeah.
Wichita State, big win after giving up the pistol and the second round of this half, because that lead again goes their way. They have a bye here, which means they get the double digits most likely. It's looking like, although they faltered, they gave up what was a ginormous lead. Things are back on track for them winning this series, as long as nothing else goes awry. That's the word I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
awry, right?
Yeah, that's the word. That's the one. And to my knowledge, this is a single elim situation. So if Wichita wins this, James Madison is not only down, but they are officially out in that scenario as well. So, that's definitely going to be unfortunate. But let's jump back to Ascent for a moment before the fight really begins. And both these teams gave us some seriously impressive, thrifty rounds. I think there's a real possibility of that happening once again. That possibility going down as Duraco is taken out early 5v4 in favor of Wichita. It is Truman picking up a double kill, and things looking worse and worse for James Madison. GSB, I think, is going to be the real kind of linchpin here. If they go down, it's going to be a disaster. But if they can get an elim, they can tie things up, maybe even win the round.
I'd love to see them hand the Vandal off, because they have that Blade Storm, so they already have good weaponry to work with here. You give it to someone else, maybe they fall, but at least it's better chances for a trade. Guardian is not what I would want, because it's like if you miss the one like tap, it's not looking pretty, especially going into a Vandal or Phantom that's a lot more automatic.
Oh, it's just a game of chicken right now. Who peeks the corner first and who's got the appropriate crosshair lineup? 3 players waiting for this KO to peek, and it's gonna be Pizzasaurus who gets around. No, the collat! Oh, I'm almost upset that I was correct with this, because that collat just hurts. I mean, this is that round when they absolutely needed James Madison. They're getting ready to take momentum back all over again. It's up to Thiessen to find 3 eliminations here, Jack.
Remember when I said it was better to have the Vandal than the Guardian? Well, I'm starting to reconsider that.
Dead.
Yeah, and at that point,
What a
everyone's looking
crossfire.
at you. Yeah, it just got completely pincered. How did that fall apart for Wichita State? I think they just went too aggressive on a retake that wasn't necessary, because the spike at that point, I don't think it was planted. So they just run in. They think that the 0 point doesn't get any information, so they think that's enough. They try to use a flash grenade as well, but that doesn't land. Oh man, they line up, and those sort of things, it's so unfortunate. It doesn't matter if it's lucky or good. It gives James Madison a way back in, because now they get the bye. Wichita State, you don't. And I think we're about to be even once more.
I think we're going to get a Blade Storm and a Tour de Force, and they both come out straight away. They bought for 2 of their teammates in an attempt to try and make the roster a little thicker, if you will, kind of give them a little more purchase here in the gun department, and hopefully it works well in their favor. But like you said, Jag, and I completely agree, I think a draw is 100% on the horizon.
I'm just very available for James Madison. They get that plant. They have the post-plant scenario where they could use that. They also have the res, so they lose someone early. It's in a good enough position. They could bring them back, so even with double ultimates coming out from Wichita State, it's not looking super pretty, but
Truman finds Noah early. That's a massive elim. It's going to be Kalba taking out Duraco as well. Wichita, they could absolutely kiss double digits here, and that's exactly what they wanted. This is a Frankenstein-ish buy. They have to extend a lot, including 2 of their ultimates, but if they win the round, that is all they are looking for. A clean 1-tap from Truman to seal the deal onto GSB. It's a 5v2. They've got the res, but even resting right now, you're still down 2 players. It's absolutely not worth it.
yeah, I think for the 3v4, or 3v5, excuse me, 4v5, definitely worth it at this point. It's just flawless. And okay, so think about that. not only do they keep all their weapons, but, you know, they didn't spend as much as possible, which means that maybe there were more weapons taken. Doesn't look like Pizza Source is able to get one. But they get the op, so
That's
yeah,
good.
okay, no, they took the op away, so that's huge. So yeah, no, this is looking great. This is absolutely looking great. It's still going to be a buy from James Madison. They could, you know, force ultimates here themselves.
Sure.
Viper's Pit is one I'd love to see in particular, and I think they're going to take this pause to try to figure out exactly how to play around that. You lose this round,
It's over.
and it's basically over because you won't be able to buy for the next one, which means it's going to be, you know, if this one is won by Wichita State, it'll be 11-8, then it'll be 12-8 because you won't buy for the next one, and then you really won't be able to go for that full buy going into what could potentially be round 13 for Wichita State. So that's why this is so important. This is a round they really, really have to win, and I always feel silly saying this is the most important round, more important than others, because every round's important, but this is a death sentence. You lose this, your tournament life is over, your chance of making it to the grand finals is done, and after playing so well this season, beating this team previously, this is not the way that James Madison wants to go out.
Yeah, not at all. They have slain this Goliath once. They just need to slay a zombie form once again. In Wichita State, they are desperate to come through and show, hey, it really was just because we didn't have our full roster. We would be undefeated otherwise, and it's going to be really fascinating to see what James Madison brings to the table right now. They cannot commit to a full buy. They've got a couple of Vandals, and I feel this is really, like you said, every round is important, but this one is pivotal. This is a crucial round for James Madison University.
And if they run in quickly, get the Viper's Pit down, their chances of winning this skyrocket. So they need to have a clean initiation. They have to have a clean entry on the site. They cannot lose anyone. They especially cannot lose the Viper. They could, you know, they still got the res. Viper's Pit going to come out, but that's going to be a tag with the drone.
Oh, I think he gets a hit onto the Sova. Does not
2
find
hits.
the second. Did he find 2 hits? I thought he only found the one there.
I guess, yeah, I thought so. But,
Oh,
I
okay,
guess
it doesn't
not.
matter because the kill was found either way. It's going to be TSB going down early. Cabo finds the res immediately, so that'll down and out. Thiessen off the side, taking down Duraco and Jag. I hate to say it, but it is looking good for Wichita. Actually, I'll be honest, I love to say it. I'm glad Wichita's able to bring this back because they were looking rough earlier, but Zabumafu taking out 2.5, including the KO. Truman comes in quick, but it is just not a numbers game for James Madison. Murr, the last one left alive, and the crossfire is just too real right now.
Murr's in the corner.
Oh.
All right, so here's the thing about that. Yeah, it's not great because they do
Not at
lose the round.
all.
They don't have a bye here, but they did take out quite a few members. I mean, I thought for sure Team would get res. They don't, so they have to rebuy here.
I think
They're gonna
Truman was
force.
more worried about holding the angle to make sure the defuse went through.
Yeah, and they actually didn't have the right angle, but in the end, it doesn't even matter because that cloud smoke that was on them was enough to help get the job done. I mean, if you think about that, if Murr maybe had started a little bit sooner, that might have been just the stop, and then who knows, maybe they win the round on time, but they are forcing here. They are forcing on the side of James Madison, so they lose this. Like, I was thinking they save for next round, and then they force whatever they have because it'd at least be more than this, but this is looking very desperate.
Oh, Pizza takes down 2 already. Jag, desperate.
3?
It is indeed a 3K out the gate. Less than 10 seconds into the round, and 3 members from JMU were already down. Not a res in sight, not even a slow orb to prevent Wichita State from collapsing on top of you. Maybe Murr gets an exit frag, but holy cow, this is no doubt the fastest round we have seen so far.
Fastest. It's not over yet, but it's looking like we're going to be on a speed run. Murr does get one back. 2v3. They win this one. They do. 2v1. Or it was a 1v3, you said before, but now it is a 2v1.
Clutch.
They have the heal orb too, so they could heal themselves if they fall a little bit weaker.
That would go so crazy. You guys have no idea. I'd be so... But timing diff, unfortunately. Wichita State winning their 12th round. They are 1 shy here, Jag, from winning the evening 2-0.
I guess the idea there was like, hey, we're probably going to have, you know, not enough to buy fully anyway, so let's just take the risk there and go for it. You know, I've got a lot of questions about the decision to force there because I feel like they would have had enough here. I mean, my math has never been my strong suit, but I feel like with 3,000 credits, they definitely would have had enough to go for the full buy and at least try to battle back. Now they got to do it in a thrifty fashion with 0 ultimates on the board. Not even really close to any. Bladestorm the closest, and that's still 2 away. It's gonna be a miracle and a half here to stay alive in this series.
Without a doubt. We're going to need the thrifty of a lifetime. This is the final moment in Duraco. Trying to start it out early. Finds 1, finds 2. And all of a sudden, that miracle may be named JMU D Duraco. They come in quick. They find a 2K, and they have not sealed the deal yet, but by golly, have they made it look good.
Trademark is away information, but this time Pizzasaurus goes for the swing and they miss. This is huge because James Madison, they're picking up weapons.
Yep.
They're staying alive. They need to win this as cleanly as possible, though. They lose more than one person, and I don't know if they can be bot forced. This is really imperative that they win this out. And that's going to make it a 5v1. Jeem is nowhere near this spike.
Jeem is just another day in paradise out here for Jeem, hanging out on the back of A site, or attacker spawn, really, not even on A site. Trying to go for one of those weird, high ground elims, because I feel like people often don't suspect a player to be standing up here. And I don't know, does Jeem just try to save? Just look for an exit frag? I think that probably is the smarter play.
Yeah, I think at this point you're just saving as much as you can. I think the economy should be good enough to buy anyway, but you never know how long this will go on for, because this could be the start of an amazing comeback. So having that extra buy potential later on, especially when you don't have that much. I mean, you have the lowest economy right now on your team.
Right.
So this is the best play possible. There's no way you could really contest this. You're as far away from any potential engagement. Save is now confirmed. Now you gotta go back to the drawing board if you're Wichita State, because you let them take that round really on the back of Duraco just walking through mid with 2 nicely placed headshots.
Yeah, the one on the Kaba as well. I was shocked that landed. It was just a very quick one tap. Wichita, they're in a comfortable spot because Truman was max creds, so they definitely weren't particularly concerned about buying, but it's just full across the board. At this point, nobody's got a weapons advantage. We are back down to raw mechanical skill.
And actually, looking at the economy, Truman does have some credits, but no one else really does on the side of Wichita, so they lose this one. They might be giving up another round after it unless they can have a thrifty of their own. So this is not really as secure as first expected. James Madison, they are crawling slowly but surely back into this.
Onto the A site for the first time in what feels like a little while as well. I like that change up. Very often, I think they get caught by a recon dart or an owl drone, and then they kind of tuck tail and get out of dodge. 3 confirmed onto A site, which should call for a full rotation, I think, from a lot of teams. And let's see, Thiessen going in early with a shock dart, finding, I think, just a wee bit of damage, but not nearly enough. This is the headshot onto GSB as well, still rocking with a full 5v5 on the board. All about that first elim, all about that opening kill. And it looks like it's going to be a fake right back out toward that B.
Yeah, everyone's talking about
Duraco?
that first elim. The one was all about the headshots. And Duraco again, just perfect placement, perfect timing. That first kill goes their way, and
now he's with the team again. Look at that rendezvous.
Look at that rotation there. Might find one out, all right. But Kaba?
Kaba forgot Tube. Oh, and learns it the hard way. Noah gets the elim completely for free, and the tie-up comes back into a numbers advantage for James Madison. Jag, this is the scary one. If Wichita loses this, I truly do not think they have the econ to save the next one. It is up to Jeem once again to try and save the day, and I'm just not sure we're going to be seeing that yet.
It's looking like 11-12 is on the card, Septilence. Jeem, I mean, you could save again here, and I feel like that might be the best play here. Maybe just try to find those exit frags. Getting not much you can really do. Yeah, it's really just finding an angle that you can maybe find an elimination from, but with that, you're probably found out. You get 2.
Wow. Wow! Jeem! Oh my, even if you lose the round, way to reset an economy. Holy cow, a 3K out the door, 1 elim shy of clutching out the round to win it all for Wichita State, but I mean, that is just phenomenal. I think off the back of Truman here as well, they should be able to at least almost full buy everybody.
Rocco not going to buy because they can get the Tour de Force. Beyond that, yeah, I think that Pizzasaurus is actually going to do probably the same thing. So 2 dueling Tour de Forces. We haven't really seen that yet. I don't think we've ever seen a round where they've had them both online at the same time. So the potential last round in the game, Wichita State's still on series point here. Could be the one where we see who is the better sharpshooter, and Pizzasaurus already gonna have to back up because of that owl drone.
Owl drone gets him away early. Truman and GSB gonna be hugging in the mid there a little bit, but nobody takes a bullet quite yet. This is interesting. James Madison going for not quite a split approach, but I feel more split than we've seen them recently. They're now regrouping kind of back into that full 5, approaching toward A site, and with Duraco's Tour de Force, it's gonna be really hard for Wichita to engage early. They're gonna have to wait for JMU to walk into them.
Already expanded his shop. It actually bought a Phantom there, so they do have a weapon to use here, which I don't believe is available for Wichita. I think it is literally only the Tour de Force.
Oh, that was a huge flash, but unfortunately no follow-up. I think caught 3 on the side of James Madison. The 0 point comes out, catches 2 early, and probably that frag grenade. Yep, on the other side of the wall, trying to prevent that spike plant. It looks like it's going to be able to. What a shot! Zabumafu goes down. Blind fire from Jeem to seal the deal. Thiessen finds another one. Null Command is online. That could be massive here if they choose to use it, and I'd be shocked if they didn't. They're looking to win right here, right now. Gabba finding DiRocco on the flank and taking that flank down 5v2 in favor of Wichita State and Jack. They are only a couple of elims shy. Burr comes through, finding one, taken down by Kaba, and all of a sudden, Noah Izaraf is not far behind Wichita State University, clutching out that second map win and walking away with a 2-0 win on the series here tonight. What a performance.
Just like KO says, no one gets to walk away, or, no one walks away, for being the exact quote there. But wow, it was so interesting because, Wichita, you saw them having a lot of momentum coming out of that win on Ascent onto Icebox, and then it faltered by the time we got to halftime. I mean, it was 7-7 at one point, but then even Liv giving up that lead, they just bounce back, they get back in the swing of things, and that is what we expect from that number one seed. They said all the pressure was on them, and they lived up to the hype. They lived up to the number one seed in the conference. They avenged that one loss they had to James Madison earlier on in the season, and now they march on towards the finals. It wasn't the cleanest. It wasn't the most dominant performance we've ever seen the team have, but it was one that puts it away nonetheless.
Without a doubt. And Jack, it's funny because a curse that only I really was aware of has been broken. Every time I wore this jersey on broadcast, Wichita would lose. And that finally has changed here tonight. So fingers crossed the curse has been broken. I really like this jersey and I would like to wear it more. So hopefully the curse has been broken. I think we're going to get the chance to talk to somebody from Wichita in just a couple of minutes here. We're going to throw it to our final break of the night. So everybody use this time, get up, get water, get a snack, do your thing. We'll come right back here for an interview with Wichita in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you soon.
Cloud 2 Wireless.
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to. Back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents, and now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't exceptions kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big. Jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cards is real big. I gotta do it big. The only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just...
What is going on, everybody? One more time here tonight at ECAC Valorant, and welcome back. My mic is having some issues. Welcome back. We're going to be jumping into an interview with Teeson here, Sova Extraordinaire on both Ascent and Icebox, and I believe even top fragging on Icebox there. So, Teeson, my first question for you is, a relatively simple one here. Let me scoot a little bit. Things got really hairy there on Icebox. You were looking at a 7-1 score line, and then all of a sudden, you're looking at a 7-7 score line. So what changes did you make to kind of bring your team back from that close matchup?
So we started off strong, but we realized that we were getting red, so we had to change it up. We took a breather, and then we just started talking about their setups, talking about what they were doing, and we just switched things up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we definitely saw some great changes there. So is that same principle kind of applied back on Ascent as well? Ascent not as close, ending in a 13-8, but there was definitely some time in the middle where it felt like you guys could have lost that lead. So was it just changing the game plan, being a little less predictable?
Yeah, for sure. We realized that we were like just getting lost. We started losing because we were just losing aim duels, and we realized that we were all feeling our shots. So we decided to take more dry peaks, and we just kept going with that and moving on from that.
So I gotta ask, you guys, came up with some interesting looks. Why no Sage on Icebox? That was one thing I was really intrigued about. You decided to go with the KO setup instead. Was that just playing to your strengths, or was there something really specific about that composition you guys wanted to execute?
There was a lot of we talked about this a lot before the game because we didn't know if we wanted to run Sage, but we all had different opinions, but we just ended up on KO because we just felt like we could utilize our flashes more, and our attack is our weak side, so we decided to go for more an attack comp, and we got a lot more rounds than usual on Icebox.
Well, there you go. You might have figured out something on the fly to use for the future. I got to ask one last question before I give you back to Subtilence. You guys, you lost to James Madison before, with a slightly different lineup, but today you get revenge. Was this matchup more about the grand finals or more about avenging the only loss you had in the regular season?
Well, we came into the season very confident, but honestly, we didn't think about revenge or anything. We just played like usual, and we pulled through.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it worked well. You pulled through indeed 2 back-to-back victories there. And like Jag said, securing that spot moving forward. But one more question for you, Teeson, before we let you go. Is there anybody you would like to give a thank you or a shout out to while you're here with us?
Yeah, of course. Just thank you to my teammates for supporting everything. Thank you to my coach. Thank you to my family. And thank you to my girlfriend. That's about it.
Wonderful. Well, Teeson, thank you so much for joining us. And a huge congratulations to you and your team. And with that, folks, I believe we are going to be throwing it to an evening close right now. Unfortunately, I'm so used to another series happening. My brain is completely set for something else. But no, we've got nothing left for you here tonight. It has been an absolute pleasure. And for Jag and I both getting to cast here, we love being here. We love seeing the teams grow, especially teams we are a little more familiar with. After all, that's always entertaining. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to Professor Layton and Chad Lantis in the back line for producing and observing, respectively. And of course, the teams for coming and all of you for watching. We love each and every one of you. Check your posture, drink some water. Don't forget to love each other. We'll see you guys next time.
My kids, and for their kids, it's kids, that's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cards is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to. Back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents, and now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids, and for their kids, it's kids, that's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cards is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids, and for their kids, it's kids, that's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cards is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to. Back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents, and now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. On my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX